welcome back to our channel. Hear me out. I'm Dee.
I'm E.
And in today's video, we're going to be giving you a little bit of information on some topics that we've discussed off air concerning social media, technology, but rather comments made by people that we feel are a little hypocritical in the sense that, what's for you isn't for me, what's for me isn't for you kind of vibe. And one of the first things that we're going to touch on is actually a clip that we saw of, well, her name is Young Miami, and she's part of a group called City Girls. And she was being interviewed. I believe it's by Jason Lee.
Mhm.
And he was asking her if Young Miami would be okay with her daughter, basically being a city girl as well. And yeah, she said no.
So Jason asked, so Summer ain't allowed to be no city girl? I have to say it slang, like the way he said it,
Of course, of course.
So she said, Young Miami said, no, I want her raised totally different. I don't even want her to see the light of day of that. Like I just really want her to be like level-headed, a schoolgirl, and just on a whole other way. And she added, I was kind of raised different, so I don't want to raise her like how I was raised. You know, I'm a city girl. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but I don't want that for my daughter.
I mean, okay, I understand, wanting better for your kids, of course, naturally. Um, but like she mentioned, she was raised differently. And so she is who she is. That's fine. But you have the means and capability and resources now to not be in that realm of things, in that life, in that world, you know. So then why continue it? At least with the persona that you are like publicly putting out there, you are still very much, this whole city girl thing. So then does that mean that, you're not allowing your daughter to like go to your concerts, listen to your music, or, have anything to do with any other, similar group or style or whatnot? And so if that's the case as well, like, are you not also then keeping a part of you away from your kid because you're you're shielding her, maybe, if that's the right word? Um, I don't know, it just seems a little bit off to me. What do you think?
If there's nothing wrong with being a city girl, why doesn't she want her daughter to be a city girl?
Yeah.
So, in essence, there's something wrong with being a city girl
Right.
because if I'm
Yeah.
not doing anything wrong, why wouldn't I want my daughter or my kids or whatever, anybody following me to follow in
Right.
my footsteps? So it's like do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. So you know better and you can do better. You don't mind sharing this city girl life with all these impressionable, teenagers and
Ooh.
other women,
Okay.
that probably like look up to you or listen to your music and things like that. But you want your daughter to do, you know, the opposite of what you're doing. If you have all these money and this resource and you got Diddy, a whole billionaire, he dabbles in and out of the life. He knows when he could do XYZ and then be a full-on businessman. Why can't you? Why are you sticking with the city girl life? Because that's what's bringing you money.
Yeah,
Because if
definitely.
we're just doing Carisha, is that going to bring you enough money? I know you have your little podcast, but
Oh, dang.
I'm just saying, like, that's very hypocritical. Like, you don't mind, influencing kids to do, all the things that you're doing, but it's wrong for your daughter to do those things. That's not right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree because it is a lot of it. Obviously, an artist is not responsible for the actions of other people as far as like their fans and everything, but it's something that we've touched on in the past. It's like, okay, you realize that you do have an impact, you have influence, and therefore these people, including some very young people, are following you, are trying to emulate you, are trying to do these things that are similar to you. you embrace who you are, and that's beautiful. That's great. But to turn around and then say that your own child, can't do the same or can't be a part of like that same world, it does seem, hypocritical. And it does also seem like you're going to essentially I don't know, maybe drive your kid to one day, decide to be that anyway. Like kids are, the more you tell them not to be something, not to do something, the more they're gonna want to. So I don't know. It's like a tricky situation to me.
I don't know why I just thought about Power and how James St. Patrick, the love of my life, one of them. He was just a drug dealer, one of the biggest in the game in New York City. You
Hmm.
know, he wanted to legitimize himself, be a club owner, I don't know, run for Congress, president, all the crap he
All
tried to
that.
do later, which is an admirable thing. He knew he wanted to get out, but he was still in the circles of like, why? The money's good.
Yeah.
Some Tasha said, well, what we love this lifestyle. Tommy, that's all he knew as well. But to go back to Ghost, Tariq grew up seeing, or stories and hanging out with Kanan, grew up seeing that Ghost was the man, and he kind
Yeah.
of followed in his footsteps. So
Hmm.
in those pivotal years, that's what Tariq saw, or maybe peeped a little bit,
Yeah.
even though probably parents try to hide all these things.
Right.
Saw how fast the money was coming, saw the notoriety, or how respected Ghost is and things
Hmm.
like that. And what he followed in the footsteps. So him even trying to legitimize himself, Tariq still wanted to be part of
The life.
the life.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't even know how to say this. It's like if you're gonna do, certain things, like probably I know it's gonna sound bad. Maybe like bringing kids into the world, or you're trying to be a better person. Kids look up to their parents.
Yeah.
They repeat everything you say. If you say a curse word, that's the first thing they're gonna pick up out of all
Yeah.
the other magnificent words that you probably said and taught them. Supercalifragilistic versus itch. They're gonna
Yeah.
pick up the itch, and they're gonna think it's funny because I don't know why kids work this way, but you
Yeah.
know, or maybe as soon as she had her daughter, be like, hey, I gotta calm down. This is not the image.
Right.
You know, that's what I would think. But I also know that, this is what sells, and I'm not in agreement with it, but I don't think it's cool that you don't want your daughter to be this and
Yeah.
you other people's daughters can. You should know the
Right.
influence that you have in society and these people. And that comes with like some kind of social responsibility, I think,
Oh,
that
I
we don't talk.
agree. For sure. I mean that's kind of like, I don't know, that's kind of what it seems so off to me, because it's like, okay, so you don't want her to be about that life. Okay, great. But then you are dating, maybe not dating, doing some kind of weird faux relationship with a man that like used to be, doing certain things and then now is supposedly doing, much better, but then still kind of portrays a certain kind of lifestyle, and then on top of that, like has associates, friends, or whatnot who also, have a certain lifestyle that they promote. And then, your own team or band member, group member, right? JT, like, are you not allowing your daughter, to have anything to do with her? Like, that would seem wrong, right? Because, like, that's someone that you're obviously in a partnership with. Why
Mhm.
not? Like, have your daughter around them. So I think there's just a lot of different things that like could be done. I get it. I get wanting your kid to have better, to be better and do better and all that. But yeah, you have to also lead by example, and I don't know if her doing other ventures works or whatnot, but I know that like at the very least the platform that she has right now, I mean, she could be using it for something else and she's not. That's a
Mhm.
choice, you know? That's the
Yeah.
choice she's making.
So just to move away from hip hop and Young Miami, we also have a problem with the rich and the techie guys.
Yeah.
Or at least I do. I can't speak for you. So, this is an interview from 2015, or like an article from 2015. And it says when a technology journalist suggested to Steve Jobs in 2010 that his children must love the just released iPad, he replied flatly, "They haven't used it. We limit how much technology our kids use at home." His former right hand, Jonathan Ive, who's designed the iPad so simply that toddlers can operate it, recently revealed that he sets strict limits on his 10-year-old twin boys. So that was an interview from 2015. And these
Yeah.
are tech people that are giving us all these iPads, iPhones, Apple
Gadget.
Watches, gadgets, Apple TV, I don't know what else Apple related, the ones that grow outside, you know, and
Hmm.
they're even limiting their kids or not letting their kids at all use it. So what do we
Right.
think about?
I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same sort of hypocrisy, because clearly you know what can happen. Otherwise, you wouldn't be shielding your children from it. I think Tim Cook, who's the current CEO of Apple, he also mentioned how, kids born today are basically digital kids. Like that's an automatic thing now. And he limits the amount of time that his children can be on social media or any of those things. Some of them don't even allow them on social media. And yet here we are where they've added stricter policies to avoid having kids on social media, but they are still circumvented and kids are still on there. And I don't agree with, basically not having at the very least some sort of a warning or some sort of a, I don't know, something to kind of say like this is meant for adults. Do you remember back in the day, and I haven't
Tobacco
been the what?
the tobacco ads, how
No.
they were so crazy. Be like, don't
No,
do
yeah.
it. I'm hey, I got
Terrible.
it.
No,
Yeah.
but I haven't been to, a toy section in years, but do you remember like before toys would come with like a for ages 3 and up, ages 9 and up.
Hmm.
Okay, some of the stuff should also come up with like an age limit, right? Like the iPads or whatever, like maybe we should limit it to 16 and up or something along those lines because at the very least like if you need to have your kid use a tablet, which I know a lot of families do because it's just the easiest, then there should be something where it's only, meant for those age groups, right? Where it's like, okay, they're able to access just this one thing. Like I know there's parental controls on things. YouTube has its own YouTube Kids version. But even with that, like there's been stories where people have found ways to still get into these kids shows and like do terrible things in ways that like we can only imagine. So there should be at the very least some sort of like I think controls, guardrails. I think is something I read that Tim Cook said, like guardrails when it comes to all this. And I don't believe that enough is being done to really help the situation. It continues to just be a bunch of hypocrisy all across the board.
I think that we also need to look at what these people are doing and
Hmm.
why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Because with them doing certain things, they're telling us a lot.
Hmm.
Why don't you want your kids on an iPad for 6, 7 hours a day? Is there something you don't
Right.
know? Let's research. I mean, obviously kids need social interaction, they need, time away from the screen, their eyes, blah, blah, blah. We get
Yeah.
it. But if we look at their actions, then, we probably know why they're not doing certain things. So I think it's
Oh
just let's be a little more cognizant of what they're doing, even though I kind of don't want to keep up with their lives, but
yeah.
still, if they're doing something, it's for a reason.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I'd mentioned in another uh episode of ours that, we should treat a lot of these people, these politicians, these tech guys as celebrities themselves and follow what it is that they've got going on, what it is that they're doing because yeah, a lot of it can inform our own decisions in certain ways because, if you're not allowing your kid, to use some of these like new VR sets like Apple's coming out with, then I'm not gonna allow like let's say my nephews to use something like that. I'd tell my sister like, "Hey, don't let them have that." If the freaking people behind this product aren't allowing their kids to use it, there's no reason you should be allowing your kids to use it. Like there's definitely a lot that can be said for those things, and it's unfortunate that we do live like in such a deep digital, society now, that there's so much access everywhere, even for the smallest of us, and it's, I don't know, I think it's dangerous, honestly.
Hmm. And we're not saying to fully neglect the kids from using technology. I mean,
Yeah.
at school right now, I know like one of my friends, her kids are in Chromebooks since kindergarten.
Yeah.
I mean, we started probably using computers when? I
Middle
don't even,
school.
yeah, like thoroughly middle school. I think I was introduced to like a Macintosh.
A
Was it
Macintosh, yeah.
Macintosh? Like
The
probably like in,
colorful ones.
yeah, like fifth grade, like seventh grade, so everything's heavily digitized. We get
Yeah.
it. There's more than it meets the eye. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
There should be limits. There should be limits. Definitely.
And city girls, I don't know. You might be mad at me. I don't care, but if you know better, you do better, okay?
For sure. I mean, listen, I'm all for having a better life, giving your kids a better life, but you should probably re-examine things a little.
And I'm just gonna say this. Whatever happened to doing things on the low? Why does everything have to be publicized? Not that I am endorsing any kind of behavior, but on social media, before people used to do whatever they wanted and
Yeah,
not the whole world needed to know. If you
right.
wanted to date 10 guys, you could have.
Yeah.
Like now it's like everything you put it out there or the paparazzi puts it out there and
Hmm.
you just got to be aware of your image. Just keep it on the low. Kimberly Kardashian, I hate to bring her up, she says she wants to date a whole bunch of people,
Yeah,
now. So I'm sure she's taking 10,000 measures to do something like that.
right.
So what's wrong with keeping, let's be a city girl on the low. Okay?
Right. Yeah, ain't no problem with that.
I
Go
might
for
be a city girl on the low, but you would never know.
it.
I know.
Too much.
I know, sorry.
Well, I think that that is it for us today. Let us know what you guys think. Do you agree on any of this? Should there be guardrails, for kids and technology and social media? Should we, not be out here doing certain things that we don't want our kids to be doing? I don't know. Y'all tell us.
Are you guys city girls on the low? Tell me, because I want to know.
She just said about keeping it on the download. Now she wants.
Well, I mean, tell me. I won't tell nobody.
We'll keep it between us, guys. We'll keep it between us. But yeah, so make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel. You guys are liking our videos. Help us get our viewerships up, our subscription numbers up. We enjoy doing this. We enjoy giving y'all some content and talking about literally everything across the board when it comes to pop culture. Um, Tell us if there's something else you want us to cover. We're definitely down for that. But yeah, notification bell on, guys, so you know when we have our videos. And we're really grateful for those of you who are definitely still watching and coming back and also commenting. Love it. Thank you, guys.
Subscribe me. We see
Yeah.
we see y'all looking. Come on, just subscribe. Make us happy. No, if I offended anybody, I'm sorry. Sometimes I could just get carried away. I don't mean it. I promise.
It's all love.
It's all
All love.
love.
All right, y'all. Have a good one. Bye. Peace.
Bye-bye.